The Legacy of Light. Morning arrived gently across Park Avenue, slipping through lace curtains and resting on Evelyn Parker's eyes like a soft reminder you're still here. Beginning again, she lay still for a moment, listening to Manhattan wake up. Taxis murmured below, a bus sighed at the corner, and somewhere, a delivery truck announced another day's urgency. Inside her apartment, it was quiet. Orchids leaned toward the light, with the hopeful stubbornness of things that believed in tomorrow. A kettle clicked off in the kitchen. "Still here," she whispered, smiling to herself. "Good, let's behave irresponsibly." She slid out of bed, wrapped herself in her robe, and followed the smell of coffee down the hallway. Harold stood at the counter with the Wall Street Journal, frowning at headlines, as if they were personal insults. "You're negotiating with the world again?" she asked, reaching for a mug. "It refuses to listen," he said without looking up. "Very familiar feeling. So now you know what it's like to be married to me," she replied kindly. He smirked. "Touché." She poured coffee, oat milk for virtue, a whisper of sugar for rebellion, and leaned against the marble island. "I have a call with Claire later," she said. "And your golf lunch?" "And I promised the food pantry I'd bring scarves this afternoon." "Still saving the world?" Harold asked. "Only the parts that fit in a tote bag," she said, with style. She dressed with intention: soft trousers, her favorite cream turtleneck, the pearl earrings Harold once declared were jealous of her. In the mirror, she saw silver hair, a soft jawline, and eyes that had learned to forgive the world and herself at the same time. "Proof," she told her reflection, "that I never vanished." She asked the driver to stop at Starbucks on 59th and Lexington, before the rest of the day could claim her. If life came with checkpoints, this was hers. Inside, Manhattan rehearsed its daily ballet keys, tapping, cup steaming, ambition murmuring. "What can I get you today?" the barista asked. "A tall oat milk latte," Evelyn replied, "and if you sell courage, I'll take a double." The barista laughed. "We're out of courage, but I'll upgrade your foam." A young woman beside her glanced over. "You're the lady from the elevator video, right?" Evelyn tilted her head. "Only on weekdays. My mom watches you every Sunday," the woman said. "You're kind of her church now." "Well," Evelyn smiled, "tell her I hope she likes the music." When her name was called Evelyn, extra, foam. She carried her cup into the morning feeling taller. It wasn't posture, it was permission. She walked through Central Park, leaves moving like applause under her feet. Near Columbus Circle, older men negotiated chess as if it were world peace. A woman in neon leg warmers practiced Tai Chi. Her husband looked on as if witnessing the moon landing. Evelyn sat and watched. Getting older, she had learned, was not about shrinking. It was about standing where your vision widened. Her phone buzzed. Claire, FaceTiming from Los Angeles. Behind her daughter, the sun flooded a bright kitchen. "Mom," Claire said, "I just watched your new video." "Which one?" Evelyn asked. "The one where you said aging isn't erasing your face, it's editing your life." "I did like that line." Claire's eyes shimmered. "Your grandson keeps asking when he can age loudly. Tell him it starts by not whispering." Evelyn laughed. They talked about groceries and deadlines, about Pilates and parenting struggles. that never age out. When the call ended, Evelyn held her phone a moment longer, warming her palm with the echo of her daughter's voice. At Whole Foods Market at Columbus Circle, she moved slowly through bright aisles, gathering strawberries, olive oil she'd pretend came from Tuscany, and a rotisserie chicken because legends also deserved shortcuts. In the vitamin aisle, two women debated collagen like sommelier. One promises glow, the first said. The other promises youth, the second replied. And neither promises flavor, Evelyn added. They laughed. Do you use any of this? One asked. I use humility, Evelyn said. And occasionally a very expensive moisturizer I refuse to measure by results. One leaned closer. You're that Park Avenue woman. Evelyn smiled. I've been a few women. They parted like neighbors who'd just discovered a shared fence. On Sunday, Evelyn and Harold returned to St. Thomas Church. The organ lifted old hymns into new light. The sermon moved through pews like weather about seasons and storms, and the dignity of enduring both. After the service, a woman touched Evelyn's arm. I don't know how to say this without crying, she said. Your words brought my sister back to our family. Evelyn took her hand. Then something beautiful already happened. The woman nodded, tears looking exactly like relief. That afternoon, Evelyn's living room became Legacy Circle again. Teacups, jazz, cookies, half virtuous, half unapologetic, and a table brave enough for truth. Who surrendered something this week? Evelyn asked. Marjorie raised a hand. I stopped pretending my reading glasses were temporary. Laughter. Denise confessed she'd made a therapy appointment. Amelia announced she'd applied for a job she thought she was too old to try, for even though she was 37. Evelyn listened like a librarian of courage. Aging isn't erasure, she said. It's editing. You cut what's no longer true and keep what sings. And some days, silence sings loudest. They ended as they often did, one fear, one gratitude. Fear being ignored, gratitude still being here to notice. That night, unable to sleep, Evelyn opened her notebook. Things I want my grandchildren to know. You are not your wrinkles, but your kindness. God hides in ordinary places like texts that say home and doctors who say you're fine. Your body is your suitcase. Pack it with patience. Call your grandparents. We are libraries with short hours. Aging is not a warning, it's a receipt for survival. She closed the notebook and offered a simple prayer. Thank you for keeping the door open. Later, she and Harold walked Park Avenue, beneath streetlights that turned everything a little holy. You ever think our world would slow down like this? He asked. Slow? Evelyn smiled. We just changed gears. He took her hands. I worried your world would shrink, and I was wrong. You made room for other people inside it. She laughed softly. I always wanted to renovate. They walked on. Weeks later, letters arrived from places she'd never visit. Ohio, Maine. A note from Florida. I bought a red dress because of you and wore it to church. Just because. Evelyn taped it to her refrigerator. Another afternoon, she and Amelia returned to Central Park, with Starbucks cups and sunlight. Do you think about the end? Amelia asked. Sometimes, Evelyn said, but I'm not in a hurry. Too many strangers left to befriend. How do you make it not scary? By living so fully today that tomorrow feels smaller, Evelyn answered, and by remembering every age has its own kind of bravery. One quiet evening, Manhattan softened into poetry. Evelyn stood by the window and studied the life behind her, and the one still curious in front of her. We don't shine less because we're older, she said aloud. From the sofa, Harold replied, we shine because we finally know where the light is. She turned to him, fearless and full. For the first time in a long while, she did not count years, she counted moments, and that night, she slept smiling, like a woman who knew her life wasn't closing, it was opening into its most luminous chapter yet.